So the decision that you made at that time is based on what you know at that time.
Right.
And the things that you are
Yeah. Now, how does she dig out from this problem?
Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Kay Hartman, and with me as always is my husband Steve.
Hi, glad you could make it.
Welcome to our YouTube channel Clear Echoes, where we provide free advice to those who need it. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist and a life coach, and today we are going to start with Tamika. She said, "My best friend and I started a cookie business, but it unfortunately tanked. We maxed out multiple credit cards that we used to put up our physical store and purchase our initial inventory. We were only open for about 8 months, and now we are in debt up to our eyeballs, and we don't know how to dig ourselves out of this hole we buried ourselves in. There were just so many things that didn't line up as soon as we opened. First, we thought our location was ideal because it was in a very busy street, but we were not aware that there was going to be a road expansion, and the construction started 3 months into our opening date." Wow. The barricade they installed covered our store sign. The customers were discouraged to come to our location because they will have to drive through the dirt to enter into the parking lot, and getting out is a hassle because they had to reroute the path, leading to a long U-turn that gets congested during rush hours. We thought if the customers can't come to us, we will go to them through food delivery service, but we can't find dependable employees that will stay longer than a month, and we find ourselves continuously training people instead of thinking of ways to get our business off the ground. It just got worse and worse. We decided to cut our losses and closed our doors. We feel so defeated, and this failure is eating up on me. I'm stressed every day, and it's hard to be hopeful when I feel like any idea we come up with is just not good enough to try to pay all our financial obligations without any income from our store. This event has also put a wedge between our friendship. Most days that we get together to come up with plans on how to tackle our debt, we just end up blaming each other for what happened. We point fingers at each other for not checking with a county about the road expansion. We point fingers at each other for not finding the right people to work with us, and we keep second guessing ourselves if it was even a good idea to close the shop when we did, because my friend is now convinced that we could have made it work if we made more sacrifices so that we at least have some income to pay for our debt. What is supposed to be a brainstorming meeting ends up as a heated argument, and we end up without any concrete plans to get ourselves out of trouble. The truth is, we both made a series of bad decisions. We had bad timing, and we both ended up in a bad situation. I can't see any light at the end of this very long and dark tunnel. I'm so depressed, I'm such a failure, and I'm very confused. I hope you can tell me how to get out of this nightmare that is my current life. Tamika." Tamika, don't let your past experience define who you are. What happens in our life is not our identity. What happens in our life is called experiences. Right? Your decision to close your store was based on the information that you had at that time.
Right.
That you made that decision. So don't kick yourself, for whatever decision you made before. You were experienced in having a store. You were inexperienced in operating a business. So the decision that you made at that time is based on what you know at that time.
Right.
And the things that you are realizing right now, those information wasn't, you didn't have those information with you then. So, right? Why?
Right.
So don't punish yourself over the decision that you made before.
Yeah. Now, how does she dig out from this problem?
Yeah.
I would suggest maybe finding a debt consolidation or company or a advisor.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are free ones. You just have to Google them.
Yeah.
Because Clark Howard, who's a reporter and consumer advocate in Atlanta, he may have them on his website. If not, you should be able to find them, or even call whoever's the consumer advocate in your area. Maybe they can give you that information. But you should be able to find them. Just make sure it's a free one, and it's not a scam, and you shouldn't have to pay anything ahead of time.
Well, your debt is credit card based, which is a good thing. You're actually not hopeless, because any financial guru or any business advisor would tell you, if this is the first time that you are building up a business, try to take those credit cards, take advantage of those credit cards and use those to build your business. And there's a reason, because credit cards are unsecured debts. Credit cards are unsecured debts, and those are the perfect tool to use for inexperienced business owners, those who are trying to build a business for the very first time because they don't have any collateral. And what you can do is you can call your creditors, you can call the credit card companies and tell them about your situation. Tell them that you are having hardships, and they will work with you, because they would rather get paid part of your debt than not get paid at all. Because you can't, I'm not sure if you are able to file for bankruptcy. If you do that, some of the credit will actually get wiped out, but it will stay in your record for 10 years. So the very first step to do here is to call your creditors, your credit card companies, and tell them that you're having hardships. And most of the time, they would lower your interest rate, even cut your debt in half.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's hope for you, right, Tamika? That is hope for you.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Yes. If that's not enough, you can call a credit card consolidation company. They will try and consolidate all of your debt so you only have one payment a month. They would ask you for your current income, where it's coming from, and then they will base your one monthly income to pay for all those credit cards. It wouldn't be as hard to pay for. And right now, I know the credit card interests are like 26 to 30%.
Oh, yeah.
So that in itself is just amazingly
and they've got
ridiculous.
all these little loopholes where they can raise the rate if you miss a payment and
yes,
stuff,
if you miss a payment, and there are late fees, and the late fees right now are so expensive, $40 to $45 for late fees on top of the interest rates. So yes, I think you can, if you call your credit card, your creditors, your credit card company, they will try and make a deal with you. If both of those fail, then the next thing to do is to file for bankruptcy. Try and see if you can protect yourself by filing bankruptcy, if that is even, because it's not as easy. I don't think it's as easy now as it was it's going to be in your record for 10 years. If that is not something that you wanted to do or you can do, then try to make the first two suggestions work.
Yeah. Good advice.
Yeah. So, but don't despair too much. I know it's tough. I've been through my own adversity like this, and I know that it is hard. It seems hopeless, but once you go through with this, watch out for the next opportunity, because sometimes things happen in our lives so that we develop the skill that we need for the next best opportunity that will come our way.
Right.
And I know right now it may seem like this is so hopeless, and as you said, it's a long, dark tunnel. Don't focus on the long, dark tunnel. Focus on the lessons that this experience teaches you. Focus more on that as you dig yourself out of the hole. Focus on the things that you will do, because that will give you the skill, like talking to the companies, talking to your creditors. Don't focus so much on the inconvenience of it. Focus on the skill that you will learn to navigate this situation. Because all of those things, as inconvenient as they are, is teaching you the skill that is necessary for your next adventure. You know, don't blame yourself. Blaming doesn't really help. This reminds me of Maya Angelou's quote, which I actually posted on my Facebook page a couple of years ago. I just thought that it was so profound. She said, "When you know better, do better, but give yourself grace for not knowing what you don't know until you learned it." So stop blaming each other. Talk to your friend and tell her, let's just concentrate on getting a resolution to this problem that we have. Because blaming doesn't help. It will not help you. It's nobody's fault, really. And the decisions that you made when you closed your store was based on the information that you have at the time that you closed it. It was based on the situation that you were in, and we all just do what we think is the best for us. And at that time, that's what you thought was the best for you. So stick with it. And now in your situation that you have of trying to dig yourself out of this credit, this enormous credit that you have, focus on that more than the blaming game.
Right. Excellent.
Right? I know this is tough. I know it is tough. And I know that I know the feeling. I can feel you. You cannot tell me that. You're just telling me this because you are not in my situation. I have been in that situation.
And most small business owners have been in that situation.
Yes. You can talk to other business owners, even the successful ones, because there is a scenario, there is a stage in their business where they have gone through the same, maybe they didn't close their business, maybe they did not get into a stage, the exact stage where you are, but they have a story to tell you of the hardships that they went through and how they overcome it. And that's to give you some pointers, to give you some insights on how they navigated that part of their business. But more importantly, it will give you inspiration that this failure is not the end. This failure is the stage that you need to go through to learn the skill that you need.
If you do something in the future, do a lot more research. Join the SBA, the Small Business Association. That might help with things. Just talk to other small businesses, like you said.
If you still wanted to have a business in your future, yes, you can do more research. You can work at a company that you wanted to emulate.
Yeah.
That way you will have more insight, you will have more information on how to run such business and what are the challenges of those business before you open up your own. But I don't exactly know where your next adventure is going to be, whether it's going to be a new business or if it's going to be a managerial position somewhere. But this stage in your life is just something that you have to go through for some reason. So think of it that way. Focus on the lessons that it's teaching you more than the inconvenience, and you will come out of this situation a lot more mature, a lot more knowledgeable, and equipped with a lot more skills, for sure.
Oh yeah.
So, Tamika, I wish you all the best.
Yeah.
I hope that you are able to find the inspiration that you need to be able to help you get out of this situation. And I hope that your friendship, as you said, it's already getting affected, but this is just a stage because both of you are stressed.
Yeah.
But this is also a test in your friendship, and if you can come out of this still friends, then your bond is even going to be stronger. So just try and talk to her about this, and always be in a really relaxed and cool mood before you guys meet, so you don't headbutt all the time about who's wrong, what to do, and all of that. Just tell her to just focus on what needs to be done.
Yeah. What you need to do to move forward, and what's already happened has happened, and you can't change that.
Right.
You need to, so the planning, instead of blaming each other or coulda, woulda, shoulda, it's how are we going to resolve this?
Right. All right, Tamika, I wish you all the best. I really, really do. And I hope that you can email me when you're out of this to tell me that, hey, we got over this and this is what happened. And I would really love to hear back from you.
Yeah.
All right, Tamika.
Okay. Ooh.
God bless, Tamika. And I know for sure that you can get over this. When it's the darkest, just remind yourself all the time, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. And
if you'd like to submit a question to be featured on our upcoming episodes, please feel free to message us through our social media links, which you can find below. We will keep your identity protected. Hope to hear from you soon.
And that's it for us today. Thank you so much again for joining us. I hope that you will click our like and subscribe button, because that will help grow our channel. Until next time, be awesome.
Be awesome.
All right. That was good. On the next episode of Clear Echoes, I'm sorry I didn't provide much details for my last email. To be honest, I was ashamed. I had to think long and hard if I even want to write to you again and explain my situation, but I decided to tell you my whole story so you can advise me how to get over my feelings and move on. I dated a married woman.